Hamilton on the West Her Hotline, joining me fresh off a road trip to Florida and another Sabres practice today. Paul, I know it's a job, and you're covering practice and you're writing stories and you're covering every game, and that really doesn't change whether the team is in second place or in 15th place. But overall, does this hot stretch the Sabres have had here, this hot half a season basically is what we're almost talking about, does it change anything from your perspective about doing your day-to-day job?
Yeah, it gives you something different to talk about, because it got to the point where, you run out of asking the same question over and over again because you watch the same game over and over again, and the same players say the same thing over and over again. I mean, I remember when Jake McCabe said to me, he goes, "Paul, I don't know what to tell you anymore." And I said, "Jake, I don't know what to ask you anymore." I said, "Seriously." I said,
Yeah.
it's we're both in the same boat. I mean, it's just but and I've said this to you before, I never ever ever lose sight of the fact that I cover hockey and football for a living. No matter how bad the hockey is. People have tweeted me, I feel sorry you have to watch this bad hockey. And I said, oh, please don't ever feel sorry for me. I'm not out in 2 degrees digging ditches or out in 31-degree rain or whatever that is. I'm watching hockey for a living, and I understand that there are a lot of people in this world who do not enjoy their jobs at all. And I do, so I don't ever feel sorry for me, whether the hockey's good, the hockey's bad, or whatever. At the end of the day, I'm still covering hockey for a living.
Right. And now the phone just probably rings a little more frequently, including from me, right? I mean, because let's be honest. The last few years, after every game, it's not like, oh, we got to get Paul on at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock. We sort of relegated to just the pregame window because, like you're saying, how many times can you and myself and Mike have the same conversation over the course of a 14-year drought where it just looks like we're watching a slideshow from a previous family vacation? It's like the same pictures year over year over year, and it's finally different. And so, I hope you're okay with us bugging you a little bit more often.
Yeah, that's my job. I mean, everybody knows that I also do a Channel 2 show on Mondays, and usually I'm in the second segment, almost always. The Bills with Vic Carucci will always, and Benini will always be the first segment. Then John Scott and I do the second segment about the Sabres, and it's back to the Bills for the third. Well, guess what? Today I'm leading off with both Benini and Scott. I haven't been with both of them yet. So that just shows you right there. Sabres are leading the show off with the two main folks, and then the football will be second and third. So that just shows you right there where the interest is so much more.
I'm talking here, Paul, in this first segment about believing in it. I think 24-5-2 speaks for itself over a 31-game stretch. I think to me there isn't anything fluky about what we're getting. I mean, have they had some good fortune here or there? Sure. I mean, every hockey team's going to have that to some extent or another in a season, and you'll probably get some that end up some bad fortune along the way too. But do you believe in this right now? Like I said earlier, I'd be stunned if they missed the playoffs with the kind of form that they're in. I think they're good.
What did I tell you before the season started up again? They needed to be 12-12-1 to get to the point where the cutoff point. Well, they've just killed 3 of those wins. So what now? What is it? 9-12-1? I mean, you can play under three games under 500 if it's still the same numbers moving forward. So. And you don't want them to play 9-12-1. You don't want to limp into the playoffs, and you really don't even want them to go 500. I mean, you want them to be the team that showed up in Tampa the other night, and blew the Lightning right out the back door. I mean, that's as bad as I've seen the Lightning play, and I don't know how long since this group that they've put together. And it's been a long time, Kucherov and Hedman, and I've never seen that team pass as poorly as they did that night, go offside constantly. Miss the net, throw the puck up the middle of the ice twice, and wind up with goals against. I've never seen them do that. Now, the Buffalo Sabres forced some of this too. I mean, with the way they played, it wasn't just the Lightning making mistakes. they were making the mistakes because the Sabres were playing fast and they were on them, and forcing the Lightning into quick decisions. And that was a night where quick decisions weren't going well for them. And the things were going very well. The Sabres were playing direct. They were playing fast. The goal I loved probably the best, if I'm looking at a goal that shows you what the Sabres are about now, Owen Power, who I think has played much, much better for the most of this season.
Yep.
He causes a Sorelli turnover at his own blue line. Dahlin had been up ice. Power didn't even blink. He knew where Dahlin was. He got the puck and immediately put it up almost 2 lines up the left wing side to Dahlin to get him up into transition, and he winds up scoring on the play. But it's Power. Yeah, the turnover is important, but it's what he did with the turnover. It was so quick. It was turnover, bang, puck's gone, and it's right on Dahlin's stick. Now he's into the zone in an outnumbered situation, and he gives them the lead. I mean, I thought that right there is a good example of things we haven't seen in a long time from this team, and we're seeing it more and more as this season has gone on.
Paul Hamilton on the Western Hotline with us here on WGR. Sabres host Vegas tomorrow night in their first game back at home since the 20 or so day Olympic break. It'll be a Tage Thompson gold medal ceremony. We'll get to what he had to say about that and Eichel's involvement here in a bit, Paul. But it strikes me, I don't know if you were asked this question by myself or Mike at any point when this season started to turn around, or if we just never really got to it. But I'm curious, what do you think changed? We know the timing of the general manager, Kevin Adams, being replaced. We know how it coincided. I think they won 3 games before that, but it was sort of in the wind that something was going to happen before that hot streak started ahead of the holidays in December. What do you think happened here that this team now looks like they can go toe-to-toe with some of the best teams in the league?
Well, this is, for the most part, Kevin Adams' team. He got most of the players. I mean, Thompson, he, of course, was part of the O'Reilly deal, which was a little bit before.
Sure, yeah.
But for the most part, this is his team. And it wasn't what he was doing. It was to me, what he wasn't doing, which I thought was his weakness of being inexperienced. Like when you lose 13 in a row and just sit there and do nothing. You didn't even call somebody up from Rochester. Nothing. And then this year, in the beginning of the year, you have 1 win in 9 games. Again, you just sat there and did nothing. I think, well, I know, actually, there were some players in that room who had no faith in him at all that he would do the right thing at the right time to help this team move forward. And, and then in comes Kekalainen, who tells them, look, there's a lot of talent in this room, guys. And I really like the talent here. He goes, what I don't like is watching you guys play teams that you're better than and underperform and don't put forth the effort. And he goes, that changes today. And that's it, basically. I mean, all the players kind of confirmed that. Yep. That he goes, because they had heard the press conference. He goes, exactly what he told you. It was short. It was sweet. It was direct, which is the way he is. And I think the players felt, hey, wait, and we're in the NHL again. Look, we got a guy who's done this for 10 years. He's going to hire a guy who also has done it for over 10 years. Yeah, let's go. And then the other thing was, too, that, and we saw it with Granato, now and then they would play the way Granato wanted them to, then they'd win, but not much because they're hard-headed and they want to do it their way. Same thing with Lindy last year. They did it for a bit, and then they wouldn't. At the end of the year, they did. And then, it started to go well for them. And I think they finally just said, wait a minute, guys, what we want to do here isn't working. We sit in the bottom of the league when we do it our way, and we win hockey games when we do it Lindy's way. I got an idea. Why don't we do it Lindy's way for a while? See what happens. Well, you've seen what happens.
Yeah. It does really speak to how much effort, above and beyond effort, playing for the guy next to you, all that kind of stuff, very cliche stuff. it does really tell you how much of a difference it can make when you've got, on most nights, more guys than not paying the price. Because that, Paul, like the aggressive forecheck, how well they do at getting on top of teams in the offensive zone, a lot of that is effort. Of course, playing defense is almost entirely, of course, there's positional and understanding the system and all that sort of stuff too, right? The technical aspects of it. But mostly, you just got to want to get there. Right, you want to put forth the effort to get back and break up a pass, and lift a stick, whatever it is. And when you're not willing to go all out all the time or most of the time, you just don't get that. And that to me is the biggest change here. Because the players are the same, the system's not different. It's just they're dying to make plays now, and not just pretty offensive plays, but defensive plays too.
Boy, I was looking around the room. I did not see you there today, but you basically repeated Lindy Ruff's speech.
Oh, really?
Really? I mean, what started it talking about the Norris play at the end of the first period. He had scored 2 goals, and I had Norris on at the end of the first as my walk-off interview, and it's one of the things I wanted to get to because maybe 2 minutes before the period ended, the Sabres were in a bad place. I don't remember who had the puck, but he was coming in on Luukkonen with a great chance. Norris just put his head down and skated as hard and fast as he could to get back. And he hassled that player enough that he kind of got a shot off, but it was an easy save for Luukkonen. It wasn't a grade A, type of thing. And all it was hustle to get back. And Lindy Ruff said today, in addition to what you just said, he goes, I would rather in a film room with the players show 5 of those clips than show 5 goals. He goes, I want the players to see that. He goes, because we're doing it now. Mm-hmm. He goes, almost every person on this team, if not everyone, has done that at some point recently, of just went all out. He goes, I don't care if you're tired. He goes, you still should have enough energy for one more burst to get back when you need to be back like that. And he said they're doing it. And he goes, that's so impressive to teammates and coaches to see players just going all out, no matter what, to help prevent a goal, to help a teammate. I talked today to Rasmus Dahlin and Noah Ostlund about Dahlin goes down. He's in a heap. I don't even know if Ostlund saw it. Guess who showed up first? The 21-year-old kid. He weighs, about 135 pounds? And he was there in a shot. He didn't think about it. He didn't care who it was. It's not his nature. He doesn't fight. He just got there as quick as he possibly could to help defend a teammate. And, folks, don't think that doesn't go unnoticed in the locker room. Tage Thompson, today when we were talking to him, was absolutely giddy about it. He said that is huge in the locker room, to know that player's always got your back and everybody else in the room has your back. Totally different from the situation that might have turned this team around after it happened, that when Tage went down and nobody came in for him, and they
against New Jersey last year, right.
They all got in the locker room and said some things that needed to be said that maybe some ears didn't want to hear, and all of a sudden now you got Noah Ostlund, the 21-year-old kid, in the middle of it because his captain's laying on the ice, and that goes a long way, and it just seems like we're seeing more and more of that.
All right, Paul. I'm being told we're out of time, so we're gonna we'll put off the rest. I'll run through your Twitter and hopefully dot all the I's and cross all the T's about what Tage had to say about Eichel and whether he'll be a part of things, and then the injuries and whatnot. Thanks for this, and we'll catch up tomorrow.
Okay, take care.
There you go. That's our dude Paul Hamilton on the West Her Hotline. His appearances are brought to you by Raylax Honda. Raylax